Welcome, everybody. I get a chance to talk to Hayley Sales, who I've been listening to her music for the last 2 days at least. As I've been prepping for the interview, I saw Hayley in beautiful Hallmark films, and then I wanted to invite her on. And in my research, I discovered that she's also a singer. So, yes, I did not know that you could sing until I decided to invite you on. My bad, and also a great
No,
surprise
that's
for me.
okay. One more
So,
Spotify stream.
uh, Pandora, you're on my
Oh, even
Pandora
better.
list.
Even better.
Yeah, you've been added to my Pandora playlist. But before I ramble on, welcome to the program, Hayley Sales.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to meet you.
It's really appreciated, and I know how busy you are. You're about to go to Europe for your tour, which I definitely want to talk about in a second. So thank you for taking the time.
Yes, of course. My pleasure.
Yeah, I love your music. I love your music. I love your voice. I am not saying this because you're my guest. All of my guests know that I only say what I actually mean, and there's nothing underneath it. It's the truth and only the truth. So I my normal playlists when I when I work or when I um, try to calm myself down, which is very useful in the past two and
Great.
a half years, and especially in the last week and a
Yeah.
half, because I am ethnically Ukrainian. I am
Oh
from the
boy.
cities that are being leveled right now. So having friends there and talking to them daily and watching it, I need kind of breaks. And
Oh,
it's your
yeah.
music that allows me to get back to the normal vibratory state. So I appreciate that
Oh, thank
just from
you.
that perspective alone.
Well, that makes all of it worth it. All the good and all the bad. So thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I, you know, like you, and I told you pre-show
Yeah.
that you and I have a lot of things in common because growing up in Ukraine, and I came here as Chicago at the age of 14.
Okay.
We immigrated. I My whole Americanization process was Cubs and musicals. That
Yes.
tho- those were the two things that kind of introduced me to the United States of America and to the life. And I grew up on musicals. You love Gene Kelly. I wanted to be Gene Kelly.
Oh, this
I
is perfect.
That's what I'm saying. I was reading up on you. I said I wanted to have Hayley on my show because I saw her and I enjoyed her acting. I had no idea how much I needed to have her on my show.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I I don't know if I came in with it or because my parents were total hippies into Bob
Yeah.
Dylan, which I love all the music they're into as well. But I basically came out of the womb was like, show me a musical. And I just fell so in love with Judy Garland and Gene Kelly. I mean, even Lucille Ball, like it was that whole era of
Mhm.
post World War II. There's some rawness and romance, but this just resilience to it. I just love it. I mean, I had no idea modern anything existed till an abrupt awakening at about 12 that yeah, might not be able to marry Gene Kelly because he's 90, things like that. Oh, well,
It's yeah,
next life.
it's well, and I don't know if you saw, I think it's called Somewhere in Time, a movie with Christopher Reeve.
Mhm.
Reeve or Reeves? Reeve? Yeah, people correct me in the
Help.
bottom. Yeah,
Gosh, I should
Christopher
know this
Reeves.
too.
Reeve. Anyway, there
We
was a movie.
said both, so you've covered your
Yeah,
bases.
I covered my bases. And it's a movie in which he kind of needed to go back in time because the love of his life was there, and then he put
Wow.
himself in a certain meditative state and went there until he was abruptly kicked out by a person who didn't want him to be there at that time. So
Oh,
the
I need to watch
whole
this.
idea,
Sounds good.
or Midnight in Paris.
Oh,
Uh,
totally. I saw that. I'm like, huh,
yeah,
I know how that
exactly.
feels.
So now that you're going to Europe, isn't that
I
one of
know,
the things that
right?
you want to
You
try?
never know. It'll be Midnight in
Mhm.
Paris too.
Yes.
But,
I totally understand that, because that's kind of the same mentality. I felt out of place as well. I felt out of time in a way. I felt like I
yeah,
was observing this life, but I was from a different place,
it just
which
didn't
was
quite.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
So
totally missed it, but I didn't care
I,
until I, became a teenager. Then I really cared.
yeah,
Such is life.
I I'm with you. So and musicals, I want to ask you what your favorite musical is, which I will in a second. But when I talk to actors, or when I have to, do a really dramatic part, which is not my nature, the way that
Hmm.
I get back to what do I feel like, I literally pop in a musical and 20 minutes of
Me too.
singing
It's
in the
like a
rain.
therapy session. Yep. I
Exactly.
love singing in the rain. I totally know what you mean. Whenever, and there have been a lot of incidences where things are pretty tough. And
Yeah.
I know that I maybe should have a meditation practice that does this. And I do meditate, but it just doesn't quite hit the spot that turning on a musical. It's just this, it's like it's just cozy. It's this, I don't know, there's something special.
So what's your
Yeah.
favorite musical?
Nah, I can't.
I
I
know.
can't
Isn't
even.
that a ridiculous
I
question?
know it's so hard. You know what? I'll have to go back to when I was a kid. My favorite musicals.
Yeah.
For me, My Gal was my favorite growing up. I just because I love Judy Garland and I love Gene Kelly, and
Yeah.
there was just something about that that was special to me. Again, though, I was Singing in the Rain, West Side Story, South Pacific, pretty much any early musicals. I kind of lost interest as they progressed. Not that they're not great, but I really loved them in their first incarnation, shall we say. Like
Um,
Hammerstein, Gershwin, all of those composers are pretty important to me. Pretty important.
Holiday Inn is on that list for me. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I hadn't seen that. Somehow I hadn't seen that till this last Christmas. I know.
That's
Mind-boggling, and
amazing.
it's so good. Easter Parade's another great one. I love Fred
Well,
Astaire. He's so good.
I hadn't seen My Fair Lady until last
Oh,
year.
I forgot about that one. Okay, that might be my all-time favorite. Yes.
It's
Oh,
yeah. And again,
they're
being
so
being
good.
from Ukraine, being Jewish, a Fiddler on the Roof will always be in my
Oh,
heart. So
I got to be in that
it's
one
there.
growing up, and I loved it. The music and the story. That musical really managed to combine. I know a lot of people think musicals are these lighthearted, but it managed to use this very intense traumatic story, and the music just matched as the story progressed. I mean, it shows that the musical is not just like, hey, how we doing, which is part of it, but yeah, beautiful musical.
A modern musical that if you haven't seen, you have to watch is Something Rotten.
Ooh,
Uh,
haven't seen it.
when I saw Something Rotten, I had two thoughts. One
Yeah.
was, is this Mel Brooks? Because this has Mel Brooks written all over it, and it's not.
Nice.
And the second is, how have I not seen this? Because this is my top five musical ever.
Wow, something rotten. Okay. Yay, I have
It
a new one to
is
watch.
it is meta, it is hilarious, it is
Awesome.
just gorgeous in every possibility, every possible way. It's for me, it's definitely one of the best ever.
Yay. Well, I
Anyway,
love hearing suggestions about new things to watch. Thank you.
sorry, when I it's a stupid thing to say, but you know what I mean. There are your kind of people, and when you're with your kind of people,
It's very
uh,
exciting.
you just tend to be completely open, and you're very excited
We'll
because
forgive you, audience members, but we could probably talk about musicals for the next,
at, at least 2 hours. Yes, I
yeah, at least
know.
2 hours. Yeah.
So one of the things that was really powerful, for me as I was doing my research on you,
Mhm.
is these are your words, which again, something in common and something that's really kind of hit me in my heart. My voice is my voice. Who am I? It's who I am. My style is whoever I move to write, to sing, to wear. And even more importantly, I never needed to change anything or do anything to become myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
took me a long time to realize that too, unfortunately. But that's part of the journey. I I think if you're born sensitive and with an imagination, um, it's very easy to be impressionable. And I what's funny is I came in pretty headstrong, and I was like I knew who I was, and it was this bold, romantic, crazy kid. Literally, I was, running around singing at the top of my lungs, thinking I was gonna marry every boy in class. It just I was very comfortable in myself, and then I started to realize it wasn't cool. And at a very hard age to realize that, I became a chameleon and turned myself into a part of myself, but I just shut the doors on a lot of the deep, really important components that made me uniquely who I was. And potentially because of that, the industry, because I wasn't sturdy enough in what, like, this is who I am. I got pushed in certain directions and told certain things that I would go with and I would flow with. And then I lost everything. And it was only after that happened that I just realized I need to just settle into who I am and go back and pick up those pieces, those broken little pieces back that I left behind because I didn't think they were cool enough, and watch that musical. So yeah, I'm really, I love that those resonate with you, the words.
It took me a long time as well, and it's
Mhm.
still, I'm still not
Oh,
there,
it's still
absolutely.
constant. Oh god.
But uh, 37 years around that time is when
Hmm.
I had, that realization, and the words kept coming into my head of live your essence.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
that became, kind of the driving force, and it's been guiding me ever since.
Hmm.
And it is so ironic, and I think that's a part of the human experience, is that we come in, we know who we are. I came
Hmm.
in, I knew I was a writer, I knew I was an actor. Those were my things. That's what I cared about. That's what I always wanted to do. And
Yeah.
then you get sidetracked, and then you get sidetracked, and then you
Yep.
lose yourself in the process, and you're unhappy. And
Yeah. It's just. Hmm.
I was making a ton of money, and I was extremely unhappy. And I had a
Yeah.
beautiful wife, I had children, and I was unhappy. And why are you unhappy? Because I am not the full expression of me. And
Yeah.
not until, like in your case as well, when you didn't have ability to release your music for
Yeah.
stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Uh,
You gotta believe
I,
it happens for a reason, right? Or else, I do truly believe that, and even when it's really hard. But
I,
yeah,
yeah, and you had a chance to go back to acting, and that
yeah,
gave you that freedom. Same for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I had grown up not seeing that there was a difference between acting and music and dance, performing film. To me, it was just,
Yeah.
why are they not? Why do I have to choose? Why do I have to just do one? To me, they're just different outlets, and I love them all. And at that time, though, so I was 16 when I got signed to Universal, and at that point, it was not really, you don't really do both, was what I, so I had to choose. And of course I chose music because at least I get to express myself, and I love writing songs and producing. But it was losing the record labels, losing the record, everything, that I remember sitting there and going, what do I really miss? Acting. And I remember everyone being saying, you're too old. I was not old. I was in my early 20s. They're like, you're too old to just get back into this now. You don't have any credits. I'm like, but I love it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it work. And somehow it
Mhm.
is working. I mean,
It
off
is.
and on, like any artist's life, but it is generally moving the right direction. So never take people's opinions and make them real.
No, because people's
Yeah,
opinions are expressions of what is within them. It has nothing to do with
exactly.
you.
Exactly. You
So
can prove everybody
again,
wrong or right.
yeah, it took me a long time to learn that one as well. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just you have to be you. And you're a wonderful actress. And
Thank you.
I thought, and this is the tragedy with the working actor, is that I thought that the first time I saw you was in The Perfect Bride, uh, and I
Oh.
knew that you looked familiar, but I couldn't. I just, well, she's wonderful. She's very natural. I just
Mhm.
really enjoy acting, because acting to me, it's, again, you're probably the same way. When I'm watching something, there are three of me. There is the
Oh yeah.
me as the viewer, there
Hmm.
is the me as the writer, and then there is the me as the actor. And
Yeah.
if
Totally.
I'm watching someone and the two parts of the actor and the writer are not present, that means the person is doing a
Yeah.
wonderful job.
Well, that makes me feel good because I totally know that feeling. And
Yeah,
I can't watch myself and feel that way because it's myself. And I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? So it's really nice to hear that it translates to you. That makes me very happy.
it does. It does. It
Yeah.
it it translates. The biggest compliment for me in terms of acting is it natural, and
Yeah.
your acting is very natural. So it's I really enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
Loved that whole mini series.
Yeah, that was great.
After And then I realized that, wait a second, I know why you look familiar, is because I saw you. Well, I saw you in Deadpool too, but I didn't realize that was
That's
not the
okay.
realization.
That there
Yeah,
is, it's still good.
yeah,
Never know
which
once they
is
edit videos. So okay.
unfortunate. But where I remember you from, and the first actual place that I remember you from, is the Royal New Year's Eve.
Oh, that was so much fun. I loved that
Yeah,
one. That
that
was
was a very,
incredible.
very, yeah. So that's how I kind of got introduced, and then reintroduced
Oh,
in the perfect way.
awesome. Well, yeah, that both those movies were incredible, incredible fun to film, and all the actors.
Mhm.
I mean, pretty much all the actors I've worked with, I've been lucky are sweethearts. So I don't know how that worked out,
They
but thank you.
they are. I think Hallmark is really good at that. Is choosing
Mhm.
the right people and choosing the
Yeah,
chemistry. The chemistry between Kevin and, how do I pronounce? Is it Kevin? Is it Kevin? I didn't look up how to pronounce his name. Kevin Smith.
I
Um,
think that's how you. I mean, I'm trying to
okay.
remember if I said it differently.
Okay.
Again, Kevin, whatever. He's a sweetheart. I love working with him. So if I don't know how to say his name, sorry. But yes, he was very,
It's
very
just,
warm and welcoming.
he is, again, so natural, and when he's smiling, you want to smile. He is
Yeah,
just
he's
such
genuine
bowl
human.
of sunshine. Yeah.
Yeah, very genuine. I love when
uh
you meet a person and then when they act, it's
yeah,
just as though they're saying different words in a different situation, but it's still the same essence of whoever they are, that they're not trying to hide and they're just letting it come forward.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Pascal, the same way.
Oh,
She's just
sweet.
so
They
so
deserve
well.
all the success they're getting. I really love them both.
And after that, I actually went and started watching When Calls the Heart. So it was after
Oh,
I
nice.
saw them in The Perfect Bride, is when I started watching When
That's
Calls
so
the Heart.
cool. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So what? Again, I know we're jumping everywhere, and we'll come in and out, and I will get to your
That's
tour
fine.
eventually. But just like musicals are my happy place, right?
Hmm.
The modern version of that experience is Hallmark to me,
Hmm.
because
Okay.
it's that it's that heart warm open energy that
Hmm.
I really started binging Hallmark, and I mean that in a literal sense. I've been binging
Oh,
Hallmark when the pandemic started, and
yeah.
it's really responsible for getting me through and keeping me happy, if you can, call that, during
Yeah, no,
all that
I
time.
know what you mean. Yeah,
So,
I think as much as I love the Marvel movement, shall we say,
oh,
I think it's a little unfortunate that it seems as though a lot of the mid-budget, really, really incredible movies that were even made in the 90s. I mean, any Tom Hanks movie, like these films that have kind of fallen to the side recently. Like they're not making those, and Hallmark did kind of swoop in there and see a lot of people want stories that are just warming to watch, that just are beautiful stories that make us feel comforted, and maybe not. It's hard to describe, but you know what I mean. It's
I,
I
it's
think
here.
it's really important to have those stories being told versus just um, the blockbuster. This is our formula, and we're going to follow it, which is
Yeah.
fun too. But I can hear what you're saying entirely.
Yeah, and again, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool is my
I
top
love
three
him,
favorite
and
character.
he is
So
hands down the nicest man I have ever met. I had a very tiny role, and he had absolutely no reason to go out of his way to be present with me, and he did. He came down even though he wasn't in the scene I was in that day. He's like, "How are you?" And we just had a great conversation, and really lovely man. Again, deserves all the
uh,
success he's getting. And
I
he
I
is just
had
that
a I
funny.
had a yeah, and
Yeah.
he again, I love genuine people, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what he seems like.
Yeah.
I don't remember the dream anymore. I remember, actually, I can check my social media because I posted it and I sent it to him. I had a
Oh,
dream where he and Blake invited me to dinner, and I was at their house and we were chatting, and Ryan was hilarious. So I had that as a dream, and I think I sent him a
that's
tweet
awesome.
saying, this is what I was having in my dream. So thanks for the invitation. So it was
So
pretty funny.
cool.
But even in my dream, he was awesome.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Very, very cool.
So I know Hallmark, again, when you're doing these kind of TV movies, and I've been blessed to interview a lot of people who are Hallmark. What I hear is that it's a 3-week kind of shoot. They
Yeah.
have this down to a science. They're wonderful at it. Um, does the does the energy on set translate to the energy on screen? Because the energy on screen is wonderful. What is it like on set?
Hmm. It's amazing. I mean, again, my experiences have been amazing. I think how the, there is this thing called summer stock where you're
Mhm.
just going through the plays and you're doing
Yeah.
as many as you can. It kind of has that showbiz vibe where it's very quick, everyone's very present, you're moving really fast, there isn't enough time to second guess things, and
Okay.
generally there is very little ego on those sets, which makes for a really lovely work environment. And it's
Yeah.
just the stories are fun. Like it's just you get to fall in love. I mean, it's just that is an incredible story to get to dive into. So I do think it translates. You can't fake film very well. It captures everything. I mean, you can see, at least for me, if I'm not really there, I look
Mm.
like I'm way far away. Like you know what I mean? The film is such a friendly eye that sees everything. So yeah, I think you're seeing what's
That's
happening for sure. Hmm.
I I'm in Chicago, and I told my agent, I sent her a list. I said, these are the shows that I need to be in. Please, look out for breakdowns. Do that. And I said, if you ever have a chance, the Hallmark, Hallmark, Hallmark. That's my thing. I know I'm not the leading man, but there are plenty of roles where I can be useful in a Hallmark movie. So, my
It'll
agents, if
happen.
you're watching, please continue.
It'll happen. We're gonna make it
Uh,
happen.
I think I think so.
Yeah.
The jumping into writing, another reason why I thought that we have so many things in common and what I resonated truly with is you said that when you were growing up, you were falling in love with the boy next door and then writing them a book of sonnets.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they still have it. Oh, that's so
this
awesome.
this is a book of poetry, and
Oh,
70% of that
cool.
came during the time that you're describing. Me falling in love,
Really? Yeah.
writing poetry to the girl that I was in love with,
Oh,
getting
it's so
rejected,
good.
and
Yeah, yeah, that
continuing
happened.
to yeah.
Hmm. But
Uh, it's
they do still like the poetry. This guy, so I was in Romeo and Juliet when I was 12, and I lied about my age because I looked probably 19 from about 9 on. I just grew like wildflower, whatever the expression is. And so I got cast as Juliet. And I lied about my age to the university and got the role, and then fell madly in love with the guy who played Romeo, of course, and
yeah.
decided to write him a book of sonnets and give it to him. And he was so sweet. He was so sweet about it. But he's 17. He's not.
Right.
This is not going to happen. But he still has the book of sonnets. And I said, "Can I have it?" He's like, "No, I'm keeping it." Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, writing to me is I love it probably just as much as any performing. It's an incredible. It, I feel so able to express myself through words on paper.
Mm.
Then I try and talk and I can't form a sentence. But if I'm writing it, they're delicious. Words become delicious. So
I I know what that's like, and
yeah.
I discovered again. I started writing very early on, and people were looking
Mhm.
at it and saying, "There's no way that you wrote this." And
But
then
I
I
did.
would
I'm just
respond to
that
them.
awesome.
Yeah, I would respond to them in a poetic form, proving
Nice.
my argument that yes, it is me who wrote this.
Oh yeah.
You said this, I said that. So, but
Mhm.
what I discovered, later on in life, and I wanted to ask you if you have the same experience, is
Mhm.
that when I'm writing, in reality, I'm channeling. I'm
Yeah.
connected to something, and the
Mhm.
words are flowing through me.
100%. I feel that way with songwriting. I feel that way with poetry. I feel that way with writing stories. I know I suck at it. Like if I try to write something or a song or go into a, professional writing setting and it's like, let's write a hit. I can't write anything. And there is, it's like you buzz. You start to like buzz with this, whether it's views or call it whatever is coming through you, but it feels as though something needs to be written or said or spoken or expressed, and you are kind of just the vessel that's making it happen. And then you're right, you'll all finish a sentence like, whoa, that's so cool, but it's not like I wrote it. It's like it just was in the ether and somehow it wanted to print itself on a page. So I get what you mean. And sometimes it's terrible and that does not happen. But
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. You know that you're sitting down, and
you just
it
have to
either
show up.
flows or it doesn't.
Hmm. Just have to
Yeah,
show up.
it's
So important.
you're the vehicle for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I I'm thumbing the book for something because uh I'll find it. But
Okay.
uh, in essence, it's the answer to the question of why the writer writes.
Hmm.
Eh, I'll find it.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I'll find it.
Okay.
But it's that sense, and this to me explains why sometimes when I'm speaking I cannot find the right words, but when I'm
Yeah.
writing, like you said,
I
because it's
know.
flowing through me, right?
Yeah. And the voice that flows through me, for instance, when I'm writing is very different than maybe how I would tell a story or a conversation. I've always
Yeah.
been madly in love with, and again, it probably goes back to the deep romance through which I view the world, not like just falling in love, but just
Mhm.
everything is part of this story. And like, you know, um, I it's very dramatic writing. Like that's just how I love to
Yeah.
write, and you just let it happen, and you can't really get in the way or else it stops.
And when you're writing lyrics, again, I've written lyrics. I do
Mhm.
not play any instruments, unfortunately. I love musical instruments, and I mean to learn how to play
You
play
can
the
do it.
piano.
Pick up the
Uh,
ukulele. There you go. Ukuleles, you can do that
um,
in no time.
my daughter is very musical, so
Awesome.
she plays the violin, she plays the piano,
Nice.
and then she decided to learn how to play the ukulele, so now she does that.
Cool.
Um, but when I write my lyrics, and this is the question for you, when I write my lyrics, a melody comes to mind, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's a melody that I know that's an existing kind of song that's in the proper rhythm and the flow,
Hmm.
because in order for me, I can write poetry without any music, but if it's lyrics, to me, I have to have something that goes along with the music. Whether it's just a basic, hey, this is a basic waltz. I write a lot of things that work well with waltz for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So it's a
Yeah.
waltz or a Broadway, a number, or it's a jazz number. There is a melody
Yeah.
or at least some structure that comes to mind. How does it work for you? Is it lyrics, melody, what comes first?
It really depends. I would say usually it's a melody because
Mm.
that's just I ebb with melodies. Like I think it's just thank you God for getting me into the 40s when I was a kid, like all the musicals, because there's just such a rich
Yeah.
melodic bank to draw from that just it doesn't happen as much nowadays. So it tends to be a melody that I'll sometimes be in a car driving, or sometimes I'm sitting playing a classical piece. I'm like, oh, so it'll come at very random times. It'll just be a little bit of one. And then what I tend to do is record it real fast and try and figure out a piano part because I will forget it in 2 seconds. And then if it starts to really resonate with me, I'll carve out time, and it just becomes an obsession. And I'll sit there, and sometimes the words come really easy and sometimes they don't. And sometimes I'll just have to listen to what the melody I've recorded over and over and over again and try and figure out what the song's trying to say. Uh, and sometimes it comes really fast. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I just finished a song that took me 2 weeks to write. And it would wake me up in the middle of the night, driving me crazy that I couldn't figure out one sentence of the whole song. But then sometimes you sit down and boom, you've written a song in an hour. Just kind of
Mhm.
each one's different. They're each very different children, different
Yeah.
personalities and
Um,
temperaments.
so how did it work with Sharon? You co-wrote a song with Sharon Stone, which
Yes,
I mean just sounds cool
it
on
was
on its
cool.
own regard.
Yeah,
Um,
it was cool.
how did that work? Was it the words? Was it the melody? Was it you doing the melody and the Sharon the words? How did that flow?
That was really fascinating because that was actually my first co-writing experience ever. Because it's again, like you said, it's always this thing that comes when it wants to, and I was terrified to go to that co-write because I'd never written on the spot with someone like that, and I get there, and she's incredibly gracious and fun and just a bundle of like energy. And we sat down, and I kind of had a melody and piano part in mind because I didn't want to go in with absolutely no idea with Sharon Stone. And so I started playing it. And then I remember her asking me, well, okay, this was after I lost the record deal and I was in a pretty funky space. She's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, what if you have one song to sing? Well, like, if you walk into the spotlight, you get one song for the audience to really catch a glimpse of you. What have you not done yet? What do you need to do? And I told her, I'm just like a total messy heart human. I am all drama. I am up and down. I am so moved by romance, um, and moved by a different time that I kind of abandoned. And so she was one of the first people that kind of poked me into doing
Mhm.
what I knew I needed to do and go back to that style of music that moves me so much. And then we started writing. She's like, let's write a simple love song about that moment, that like fleeting moment when you're absolutely taken out of yourself, madly in love with someone. So we did, and I wrote the melody, and then she wrote most of the words, and she's a great lyricist. I mean, I think any storyteller is a like she was able to be so concise and clear and communicate exactly the feeling that we wanted to communicate without beating around the bush. And that's pretty impressive. And
That's
she's a
very
lovely, she's just fun. Yeah, it's very fun.
how did that come about? Is it, Sharon Stone calls you and says, "Hey, Haley, let's write a song," or how
Well,
does that
that
work?
was a part of the story. It was a mutual friend. I was down in living in LA at that time, and he knew what had been going on and wanted to, help lift me up. Which those angels that help you when they have no reason to, or I will love them forever. And he, I guess, shared some of my songs with Sharon, and she was very excited to write with a woman, and to help me as well. And I kind of forgot about it. And then I got a call, and I just see this blank number, and I hear, "Hi, Haley, it's Sharon Stone." And I just remember I was walking down a pretty busy street, was just like, "Oh my God." And then, yeah, then I came to her house and we wrote the song. She had a gorgeous piano in her living room, and it was just really, really, really lovely, inspiring experience. Could have gone so, like, you have no idea, and it
Yeah,
went so well. I mean, more on my end. I had no idea how that was gonna go. Like, I can't write music. I am not a musician. I can't talk right now. But it worked out amazingly, thanks to her graciousness.
well,
There's
so
like a huge
Sharon
eagle
played
outside.
a
Sorry.
so Sharon not only played the muse, she was also a muse.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. She really inspired me to. She's such a strong woman, and she's very much in herself and owns it. And I definitely was at a time where I was kind of floundering and pretty, everyone was telling me to give up. I was kind of confused if I even should like keep doing, but I loved what I just, there's no way I can give up. I just love art. So it's like one of my religions. It's like just art itself.
Mhm.
And so she inspired me to keep going. And instead of just keep going to create music that other people wanted, create the music I needed to make for me. Yeah.
It has to be you, and thank you, Sharon, for doing it. If you ever
Yay,
watch
thanks,
this,
Sharon. Yeah.
um, I, in terms of giving up, the artistic nature of ourselves, it's impossible and it's not a good idea. I've noticed,
No.
and I actually uh, was able to verbalize it, that in my life I'm either creative or I'm destructive.
That's very true. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
And so it's better to create, and it doesn't, for people who are watching, it doesn't matter to what extent you're creating. It's
Mm-mm.
just the it's just the fact that every day you created something.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's so many different mediums through which you
mhm,
can express yourself, but it's so important. And I feel as though we're so obsessed with technology right now that a
mhm.
little bit of the importance of art is falling into the, we're not paying as much attention to just how crucial I believe any form of art is to humans. I mean, just in being a human, like the beauty and the necessity for music in schools, even just like getting down to the basics, how important art is for our development into whoever we become.
it's it's incredibly important. To
Yeah.
me, it's foreign when I hear the question of, slashing the arts funding, or art
What are
is
you
not
doing?
important. Like, to
Ah,
me, it doesn't compute, because what do we do? It's the same people
yeah.
who want to slash the budget. Do they not listen to music? Do they not
Well, that's
ever
the
go
thing.
to an art show? Like
do, but
it's
they don't realize where that comes from. Yeah, and or maybe
right,
I can't, or it's just not prioritized. I can't
right.
figure it out. I agree with you. I can't. Well,
It's
why would you do that?
it's completely foreign. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
entertainment so important. Expression is so important.
yeah. One other thing that happened, to you that I wanted to understand what that is like,
Hmm.
is when you lost your voice. And
Oh boy,
for
yeah,
people watching, it's losing voice actually, not being able to speak. And this is not
yeah.
for a day, which I had, but this is for I
Oh
lost
yeah.
my voice and then I had to do training that
Oh
day.
really?
So
Oh no.
I discovered that obviously I cannot, speak, but whispering was louder. So if I can come, desk to desk and I can whisper with
Hmm.
people, they would understand what I was saying. So I was whispering for a day.
Yeah,
So that was my losing my voice experience. But for you, voice is so much of who you are. What was it
yeah.
like to lose your voice for an extended period of time?
Uh, I lost my identity entirely. It was like having your heart pulled out of you because mm, singing is the one thing I can do that feels makes me completely at peace. Like just being able to do this and reach you with whatever I'm singing or just sing to my piano. I just love and have since I was a little baby, loved to sing. When I was came out of the womb, basically wanting to, before I could talk, I'd do this. And if my older brothers and my parents didn't start singing, I would throw an incredible tantrum. So that's before I could talk. I just loved expression through the voice. And again, around the same time that I started realizing I wasn't cool for liking musicals, and I went through this whole chameleon phase. I moved to LA actually when I was 16 by myself to be an actor. I had finished school and graduated early and was ready to get going. And I remember a casting director had mentioned that I should lose weight. And I was very impressionable. And so I just kind of, I've always been very, very determined. So I was determined to lose weight and I stopped eating. And I entirely lost my voice after about 6 months of just developing a pretty bad eating issue and couldn't talk. It was just, I remember waking up in the middle of the night and it was, acid reflux. And the next day I was like, it was so terrifying. And I had to leave LA. I had a bunch of things on starting to happen down there and couldn't do any of them and moved back to my parents had bought a blueberry farm in Canada. So moved back here, kind of lost my mind, to be honest, and all purpose. And I think if you lose purpose, you lose your mind. And finally pulled myself out of the darkness and decided to learn how to run a recording studio because my dad has a recording studio. So it became a blessing in disguise because I learned how to mix my own music, how to record my own music and EQ it and have the control to really create sounds I want. But I couldn't talk and I couldn't sing and I'd be writing on a chalkboard. My parents, it was hilarious, really. But then one day it came back and it was very soon after that I got my record deal. So if you listen to the first two records I did, my voice sounds very different because I just had such a small range at that point. So I made it work with songs that worked with that range, and now it's back. The beauty of eating food and healing over time. So it's been
Thank
back for a
God.
long time. But yeah, it's hard to lose something that we all, I think we all experience it in different ways, but it is traumatic to lose what really matters to you. But you
Yeah.
put yourself out of it and
Um,
it's it teaches us stuff. So yeah.
so as we wrap up, and I have a ton more questions to ask you, as you can imagine.
Oh,
Uh, I know you're busy. I want to talk about your tour. I finally gotten to the point. So you're
huh?
leading on a Europe, huh? Sorry.
I said, huh?
Yes.
Didn't say
Uh,
anything. It was not important.
you're leaving and you're touring with Rufus Wainwright, which is awesome. He's
Yes,
immensely talented.
he's a legend.
So
Yeah.
where are you going? How long is it going to be? And the caring part of me is now worried because of what's happening in Europe to ensure that you're somewhere
Mhm.
where it's not going to touch you.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited to go. We did the first part of this tour in the UK in October, and I haven't toured in years because of losing the record and no one seeing a reason to put me on a show. And Rufus was willing to take the risk, and he loved the music that we sent him, and he's just been my hero. Like, he's just been really supporting me through this. And so we head to Sweden first, and then bob up to Norway and down through Denmark and Germany and France and then Spain. So it's about a month of touring, and I am interested in how it will be affected by the traumatic things that are happening. Just, I mean, a couple hours to the in the other direction. So,
Yeah.
it's really heartbreaking what's happening there. And in some ways, I'm glad I get to go to Europe and bring some light and heart to the people that do come into the room and get to be in the audience. But yeah, I mean, for you, I can't even imagine. It's very,
Um, it's
I don't even
and
have
again,
words. Don't even have words.
no, it the closest thing to trying to describe it is, you're an American, you're Canadian. Imagine
Mhm.
if United States decided to just go across and invade
I can't.
Canada and start killing civilians. It
Yeah.
it's not something that there is a part of the brain that understands what is likely to happen and what is completely inconceivable that cannot happen.
Yeah.
Well, that part
That's
happened.
inconceivable. Yeah. I can't. I can't even.
Yeah,
Let's pray that a peaceful resolution comes soon and all of that. But yeah, it's
I,
very, very hard.
it's
Well, I'll sing
emotions.
songs.
Emotions are all over the place, and they go from
Yeah,
my peaceful nature to being angry, to being anxious, to being
yeah,
completely stressed out and worried. It's a roller coaster. But I'm here.
yeah.
I am in no
Good.
danger where my friends are there, and
Yeah,
they're dealing with literally life and death. So
really puts things in
yeah,
perspective. Yeah, when we're
it
like,
does.
oh boy, I didn't get to buy eggs today at the store. Like champagne problems. Things get really hard. So, but that's one of the ways
Um,
art can really help. It's the
it
only
can,
thing that
and
transcends.
it does. And again, listening
Mhm.
to your music and your songs kind of go the gamut as well. There are uplifting songs. There are songs that are more sad and introspective, but all of them are actually, again, there is the energy that it carries, and all of them are helping, regardless kind of what
Hmm.
mood you're in. All of them are helping. So please continue writing and singing.
I will. I'll send you some of the new stuff that's not released too. I
Please,
wrote
please
one.
do.
I actually wrote one because I couldn't sleep, inspired by the situation, and yeah.
I
So
saw it.
yeah, there you go.
Um, yeah, I'm a follower on Instagram. I'm a follower on Twitter.
Oh,
I'm a follower on YouTube. So yeah,
very cool.
I saw it and I saw how yeah, it's let me walk you home. I don't remember the name of the song, but that was one of the pieces to it,
It
and that's the
doesn't
part
have
that
a
stayed
name
with me.
yet.
Huh?
It's so new. I think it's called either that or Unable to Fade. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Again, it's a baby. We
But
don't know yet. We'll find out.
hey, listen, and if you ever need to co-write with somebody else, I have lyrics that are sitting that are doing nothing. I actually have a jazz
Awesome.
number that I think you would
Oh,
be perfect for. So
awesome.
when you get back from
Very
from
cool.
from a European trip.
Very cool.
It's such a pleasure meeting again, one of my kind, and
Yes, I feel it.
I really, really appreciate it. I wish you a great and safe, European tour, and
Thank you.
please continue being you, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. You too.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're gonna have an
Doing my
amazing
best.
revolution of romance and art. I can feel it. We're in a
I
dark
hope
place,
so.
but I think I can see it. I can see the glimmers on the horizon. So
I hope so.
please, it's been a long
Yeah.
couple of years.
Enough already. It's
Yeah,
it really has.
yeah.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in
Yeah,
to
thank
meet
you.
and to watch, and to please follow. Right below the video is all the information for the wonderful Hayley Sales. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Yeah, thank you so much.